Abandoned for nearly 40 years, the ghost city of Pripyat remains frozen in time, a silence so thick, it feels like the place is watching you. But beyond the decay lies something darker. Soldiers, scientists, and explorers have all reported the same things: shadows that move on their own, whispers echoing through empty buildings, a presence that never left. Some believe the radiation warped space itself, tearing cracks in the fabric of reality. Others think the horror unleashed there left behind a psychic wound, a place cursed by its own past. Whatever the truth is, what has been found inside the exclusion zone defies logic, science, and sanity. These are the 10 most disturbing mysteries ever discovered in Chernobyl. And the final one may still be alive. Deep inside Reactor 4, they found it. A hideous mass, dark, molten, and pulsing with death. It looked like a warped sculpture, twisted by pain and fire. They called it the elephant's foot because of its grotesque, rough shape. But its appearance was only the beginning. This mass was so radioactive that standing near it for more than 5 minutes meant certain death. But what terrified experts wasn't just its lethality, it was its behavior. For years, engineers claimed the mass was moving, very slowly, but moving. Spreading into tunnels. Melting through floors. Triggering motion sensors, when no one was there. In 2002, a radiation inspection team vanished from communication for 27 minutes while inside the elephant's foot chamber. When they returned, their recordings were corrupted, and the team was visibly shaken. They reported hearing metallic whispering, and footsteps. Behind the walls. Some scientists say it's just a reactive material, still decaying. But others, including former Soviet insiders, believe something more terrifying, that the radiation didn't just create a deadly compound. It gave birth to something new. Something primitive. Something without thought, but with instinct. The instinct to grow. The instinct to survive. If a lifeless mass can warp minds and move through walls, imagine what else is hiding in the forgotten rooms of Chernobyl. One such discovery was found in an abandoned school, and it looked like it had been waiting for someone. Inside the abandoned ruins of school number 3 in Pripyat, a place where children once laughed and played, something unnatural was found beneath a layer of dust and silence. Among torn notebooks and rusted desks lay a porcelain doll, arms stiff, legs cracked, eyes missing. In fact, there was no face at all. Just a smooth, pale surface where eyes, nose, and mouth should have been. Investigators described a chilling feeling upon approaching it, as if the air grew heavier, colder. The first time it was found, a cleanup worker placed the doll on a windowsill and locked the classroom. The next morning, it was found again, in the middle of a different room. Thinking it was a prank, they moved it again. But each time, the doll would return to a new location, always where it could be easily seen. What made things worse were the accounts of a low, childlike humming heard in the hallways during the night, the same melody sung during Soviet-era recesses. No source was ever found. Eventually, the school was sealed off. Locals call it the Silent Wing. No one enters that section anymore. The doll. It's said to still be there. And according to one urban explorer, it's not just faceless now. It's growing cracks, in the shape of a smile. One haunted doll is terrifying enough. But what happens when the air itself begins to behave like it's watching you? Some believe the disaster opened a breach, not just of containment, but of perception. The next mystery was first dismissed as a hallucination, until it started following people. In 2013, a research team equipped with radiation sensors entered the western sector of the exclusion zone, an area rarely visited due to structural instability and spikes in radiation. What they encountered wasn't structural, it was something else entirely. They called it the mist. A thick, colorless fog that hovered unnaturally low, barely rising above the knees. But the real horror? It moved, not with the wind, but against it. According to the team's report, the fog behaved as if it were avoiding detection. When approached, it would recede. When ignored, it would creep closer. One scientist claimed it moved in short, deliberate pulses, as though it were breathing. In one instance, a researcher walked through the mist and immediately collapsed. His equipment malfunctioned. His suit showed no breach. But his skin showed signs of acute radiation burns. Yet later tests revealed no abnormal levels in the area. Since then, multiple motion-triggered cameras have picked up the fog returning to the same zone every few weeks, always following the same path, looping in slow, smooth movements, almost like it's searching for something. Some believe it's a rare chemical reaction. Others think it's something more, a byproduct of whatever unnatural forces were unleashed in the reactor. A sentient cloud. Watching. Waiting. But not everything inside Chernobyl is shapeless. Some things have eyes, wings, and a presence so terrifying that even hardened guards refuse to speak its name. For years, it was dismissed as urban legend, until one surveillance camera captured it. Just once. In the weeks leading up to the Chernobyl explosion, several workers began reporting nightmares. They spoke of a tall, winged figure with glowing red eyes that would stand at the edge of their beds, not attacking, not speaking, just watching. Then came the phone calls, strange voices speaking in broken Russian, warning of disaster. Electrical malfunctions. Tools disappearing. Doors opening by themselves. All before April 26, 1986. After the explosion, stories of the entity faded into whispers. But in 2007, during a routine maintenance inspection near Reactor 4, a single frame from a damaged security camera caught something no one could explain, a humanoid shape perched high above the containment arch. It had massive, folded wings, and glowing red orbs where eyes should be. The footage was confiscated. The technician who reported it went missing a week later. Some call it a myth, a Slavic version of the Mothman. But others say it was real. A warning. Or worse, the cause. Declassified documents suggest that the KGB had prior knowledge of aerial anomalies above Chernobyl in 1985. They called it Reactor TMA, the reactor shadow. But the files end abruptly. Pages missing. Names blacked out. As if someone, or something, didn't want the truth to get out. But not all horrors in Chernobyl have wings or smoke. Some are small. Man-made. Innocent on the surface, but deeply disturbing when you realize what they're doing. One of them was found still ticking. Still moving. Still trapped in the very moment the world changed forever. In the main auditorium of the Pripyat Cultural Center, among shattered glass and torn Soviet banners, there hangs a single wall clock. Its frame is rusted. Its glass is cracked. But the hands still move. Here's the catch, there's no power in the building. No batteries. No wiring. And yet, this clock has been ticking for decades, without fail. But perhaps the most disturbing detail is this: the time on the clock never changes. It remains frozen at exactly 1:23 a.m. That's the moment the Reactor 4 explosion occurred. Maintenance crews have attempted to remove the clock. Once. Just once. It was taken down, stored in a nearby administration office, and sealed in a lead-lined box. The next morning, the clock was gone. And back on the wall. No signs of forced entry. No footprints. Nothing on the cameras. Just, back. Still ticking. Still pointing to 1:23. Some believe it's a coincidence. Others say it's a residual echo, a place where time fractured so violently, it left behind a loop. A permanent scar on reality, ticking endlessly, as if the disaster is still happening, again and again. And if that's true, how many other clocks are still counting down in Chernobyl? And what happens when they strike midnight? Chernobyl is more than a disaster site. It's a place where logic falters. Where the veil between what is real and what should be impossible, thins. From living metal to whispering fog, faceless dolls to watchers in the sky, these aren't just ghost stories. They're warnings. Because some places never forget what happened to them. And some never forgive. Would you dare to enter? Or is just watching enough to let something follow you back? If you liked this video, please comment and subscribe to watch more of content like this. See you soon.